Building a model steam plant using 2 engines. Part 7. Making the exhaust piping and fitting a Teepiece to the chuff pot. This device is called a chuff pot, and this gadget is designed specifically to amplify the sound of the exhaust of a steam engine. As far as I'm aware, these are made in Australia by a man who trades under the name of Steam Demon. The spelling is on screen. So if you type that into Google, you should find out what you need to know. But before you rush out and buy one of these things, and it's very nicely made, I have to admit, it's very nicely made indeed, but they're designed for very small steam engines. Small toy steam engines such as Mammoth or Willesco would be great with one of these. It would make it sound like a much bigger engine. So how do they work? Well, I'm afraid if you want to know that, you will have to buy one, because I think it would be unfair to show the internal construction on this video. Suffice to say, it's a great looking device, and it's also a condenser. Because this steam plant has 2 engines, I need to fit a Teepiece into the piping circuit. On screen at the moment is the original steam inlet fitting for the chuff pot. It's designed to take a piece of silicone rubber tubing, but I need it to accept the Teepiece on a commercial union. You can clearly see what I'm doing here. I've coated it in some Loctite equivalent, and now by holding the fitting in the lathe chuck and using a piece of brass bar in the tailstock, I'm pressing the coned union into place on the chuff pot's inlet pipe, and even without the Loctite, it's a very tight fit in the first place, so this isn't going to come off. There's a little bit of urgency now to clean off any traces of the Loctite, because I don't want it to stick the nut to the union cone. These union cones, by the way, are really called pipe nipples, but I try not to use that term because I don't want to get any viewers too excited. The construction of this chuff pot is quite clever. A bush on the chimney is threaded to accept this special inlet union, which also secures the internal parts of the unit, the part that makes the noise. Quite a good design, that's why I didn't want to butcher it by silver soldering my fitting on the end of it. Just for the record, I wouldn't recommend Loctiting union cones onto the end of pipes on the steam inlet side where the steam is at high pressure, but on the exhaust side there's negligible pressure, so it is acceptable, but it's not something I'm going to get into the habit of doing anytime soon. Now I have to decide which way round the chimney goes. Does the Teepiece go at the front of the plant, where it's very visible? No, I think I'll have the Teepiece at the back of the plant, so it's not quite so visible. I'm going to take the black paint off it as well and polish it up to make it match the chuff pot. The exhaust piping is slightly thicker than the inlet piping. The inlet piping is 5/32 of an inch in diameter, this is 3/16 of an inch in diameter. And currently I'm bending the 3/16 pipe to take the steam from the Vulcan beam engine to the chuff pot. Bending this part in the right place is of paramount importance, so I'm going to mark it with a felt tip pen. If I mark it here, this will be the centre of the bend. I generally bend the piping completely by hand. Over the years I've evolved a simple technique that works. You bend the pipe between your fingers whilst putting a lot of pressure on the pipe with your fingers, and you bend it past 90 degrees, and then you bend it back a little bit. And if by bending the pipe past 90 degrees the pipe kinks, discard it and use another piece. In reality this seldom happens because I've done this for many years, and like everything else it's just a case of practice. Get a piece of scrap brake pipe. You can get a full roll of 3/16 of an inch diameter brake pipe from just about any automotive discount store. So buy a roll and bend it into all sorts of shapes. Once you've bent an entire roll of brake piping into fancy shapes, your fingers might be a bit sore, but at least you'll figure out how to do it, and the sun will come out, and the birds will start singing, and everything in the garden is lovely. About 35 years ago, I bought this Barco adjustable spanner, and here I'm showing how I use it, and you will notice that frequently I rotate the screw that adjusts the jaws to make sure that the jaws apply even pressure squarely onto the nut. If you use a Barco spanner like this, keep it tight on the nuts, you will find that it will never round them. After cutting the pipe to length, bending it to shape, etc., and silver soldering it and cleaning it up, you will then find that it doesn't look too good. It won't be as straight and perfect as you thought it was going to be. So what you have to do is tighten the nuts at both ends of the pipe and ease the piping into the correct position. And if you can't get the piping into the correct position, then really speaking you're going to have to redo it. And don't forget, copper work hardens, so once you've bent the pipe into these complex shapes, it's going to not unbend and rebend very well. Try it yourself. Get an old piece of copper pipe, bend it at 90 degrees, unbend it, bend it at 90 degrees again, and usually by the third time it's not looking very good at all. So what you have to do is anneal the pipe, which means you heat it to a red colour, then quench it in some water, and this makes the copper pipe very malleable once again. But bear in mind, this is not a permanent fix. After a couple of bending operations in the same place, it's a good idea to anneal the copper. Here's a shot of the plant, with the piping more or less complete, but I'm going to leave it on a cliffhanger. Look at the pipe going into the chuff pot on the right hand side. The bend is not right and the pipe is too long. Oh no. My apologies for upsetting anyone's OCD. Please excuse me while I go and lay in a dark room for 12 hours and take my medication. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful.